Well, aloha kakakiaka, everyone. We've got a big one for you today. We got a special show. We got the live eruption edition. Mauna Loa, the volcano, is live. It is erupting, and we got a really cool show for you. I'm really excited to get it started. So, what's the lineup first? Let's give you an idea. So, if you're watching about this and you're not watching it live, you can click through. There's chapters in YouTube. You can click through directly to the part where that is of most interest to you. But for those of you that are here with us live, you get the added benefit of being able to ask live questions. So look, here's what we're going to be talking about. We got some updates for you today. The latest update, what's going on with the latest news. I got some really interesting footage from a scientist that talks about the speed and direction and whether the highway is going to be at risk or not. So we're going to find out about that. And we got some really special guests over here, some folks that are boots on the ground, literally, and in the air, which is really cool. I got some phenomenal footage for you that are going to talk about kind of what it's like from their perspective, biggest concerns that they've got, things that they're hearing, etc. And of course, it's all about the audience Q&A. If you're with us, pop your questions in the comments so we can kind of get your concerns and figure out what you want. All right. So let's do this. Let's move on. And we're going to introduce all of our friends over here that are visiting us. There they are. So we got Ivory and Mick Kalber, who are visiting us from Kona. Say hello to everybody and give us a quick update.
Hello, Peter. Hello.
We're from Hilo. Yes,
Okay.
side.
100 miles away.
Okay, the Hilo side. Yeah, that's going to be some interesting stuff going on over there from Hilo. Okay, great. So we got the whole Big Island covered. We got Ivory and Mick Kalber from the Hilo side, and we got Dylan Nonaka from the Kona side. Dylan, what's going on, buddy?
Got on mute. Just another beautiful day over here in Kona.
Just another beautiful day in Kona. So Ivory and Mick, what we're doing right now, we're just kind of warming up the live audience. We're going to actually start the real part of the show in 2 minutes. We just kind of use this to make sure our audio's working good, to make sure that everyone's kind of like getting up to speed. We got a couple of people who actually are asking some questions, which is great. And and we're going to pop those questions up in a few moments. I've really been looking forward to that. And you know what? So gang, I've got a real treat over here. We're going to start to play this now. Chris is with us. Chris, hooey, how's it about? So we're gonna Mick, what's your give us a quick thing of you've got, hold on a second. I'm gonna put this footage on because it's so darn cool. Bear with me here, gang. I'm not technically challenged, but okay, here we go. So that's all right. So this is some amazing footage. Mick, this is your baby here. What is it that what did you photographed this, right? What's the scoop?
That's the main event now of the short eruption on Mauna Loa, which started Sunday night. You're looking at a fissure at about 12,000 feet. They actually initially started in the crater, and then it gravitated out of the crater and went down slope to 12,000. And these are all lava flows that have come out of that vent and other vents and are feeding down slope. I'm not sure. The scientist probably told you how long that flow is. I'm not sure. I would guess 4 or 5 miles or something. It's putting out an.
Oh, wait. I just want to look at this hula girl. I want to look at the hula dancer on the dashboard. Wait. We missed that. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Wait. That's the best part of the whole video, Mick, right there.
Oh, you're so easily swayed. No pun intended.
It doesn't take much, Mick. It doesn't take much.
Anyway, they say that the amount of lava that's coming out of that thing are the equivalent of 12 dump trucks a second.
12 dump trucks per second. 12, and he said 12 very large dump trucks per second, which is pretty amazing.
But it's kind of hard, there's a lot of ways to say it. They used to estimate the flow in 2018 as being swimming pools full of lava. Olympic swimming pools. The mind can't really grasp all that. It's really hard to figure the whole thing out. But let's put it this way: it's a lot of lava.
It's a lot of lava. I just want to know. You know what? Well, look, it's 10:01. Why don't we get the official show started? I want to come back to you, Mick, because I want to. Mick, here, food for thought. What I want to ask you is, what were you? And don't answer yet. Just kind of think about this. What were you photographed this? This is your videography in a helicopter. You're not flying the helicopter. You're a photographer on the helicopter. Exactly. You're shooting this. Here's the question I've got for you. And by the way, gang, you all here with us, you got any questions for Mick, put it in the comments right now and ask. But Mick, what I want to know is what does it feel like? What were you feeling when you were like going over that? Like, look at this shot. This is crazy. So that's what I want to know. I want to know, what would you feel? So hold on to that. All right. All right, gang. We're gonna get this party started over here while Mick is pondering this deep thought question I've got for him. Let's do this. Let's get this started here with our I got to show these obligatory photos because they're so damn cool here. So here's Ivory and family. You guys got a shot of there last night. So this is what we get to do, right? This is what locals get to do when there's a lava flow. This is the big trip, right, for the locals, right? We go see the lava, and of course, not to be. But by the way, phenomenal lighting. Not to be outdone, Dylan and his son also go out last night and go look at the lava flow. So it's kind of cool, right? Everyone this is what we do. This is what the locals do. We go out and we check out the lava flows. Let me do it this way, better shot. There we go. We go and we check out the lava flow. So there's Ivory and her family, and then there's Dylan and his family and his son. So awesome. All right, let's get this party started here, gang. Here's the deal. Let's go through. I wanted to I did a quick thing. I pulled this off of the U.S. Geological Survey's website. This is the update as of yesterday. Basically, the headline is this: no property is currently at risk. So that is, I think, the big headline. Now, things could change, but as of now, no property is currently at risk. So Joan, for example, Joan popped in a question here earlier. She said, "Hey, aloha, everyone. Thanks, Peter, for this. I'm getting deluged with calls and emails wanting to know if I'm in danger. I tell them to look at a map." Joan, just send them to the show. Say, look, you don't need to worry about a darn thing. No property is currently at risk. The flow is 3 miles away from Saddle Island Road, which is a big deal if that thing overruns Saddle Road. Saddle Road is the main thoroughfare between the two sides of the island. It could be huge. They don't know yet. I've got some more. I got the scientist quote interview on that one. Earthquakes are still going on. So earthquakes going on means the lava is going to continue to flow. That's kind of what's going on with that. A couple of other things, if it's worth kind of knowing, there's active stuff. There's Pele's hair, which is strands of volcanic glass is falling in the saddle area. There is seismic monitoring. So here's what's going on. It looks like for as long as we have earthquakes, we're going to have lava flows. We got earthquakes. We're going to we're going to keep having lava flows. Why don't we do this real quick? Let's pop in. I got some stuff from the scientist that's going to talk about the speed and direction and the duration of the flow. Let's bring up a couple of comments that we got from our amazing listeners over here. So Terminator says, "Can we say anything about the air pollution this thing is giving off?" Yes, I have some information about that. And Tim says, "Where's Greenpeace when you need it? They should be here protesting carbon dioxide emissions." I'm not sure. You can't arrest a volcano, Tim. So we're going to find out about that. Okay, Joanne is with us. Joanne is an alumni of the Islander Ohana. Thanks for doing this, Peter. Excited to get an update from a trusted source. Well, thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it's kind of cool being a trusted source. I appreciate that. Here's one for you, maybe, Dylan. If they make changes to hosted rentals on the Big Island, do we know what they will be? Will they ban them or will it just be a fee? Hold on to that, Hermit, because that's not really a volcano question. That's more of a real estate question. We're going to kind of hit that one a little bit later. But I know that, Ivory, where's the sign? There's a sign behind you there, Ivory. We should just do a quick promo minute there.
Oh, thank you.
Homes by Ivory. What does that mean, Ivory? Fill us in.
Yes, I am a licensed realtor on the Big Island of Hawaii. I am brokered under Dylan with EXP at the agency Team Hawaii, and my brand is Homes by Ivory. I'm a listing agent. I've sold, I think, 18 listings this year, and I also represent buyers, but my real joy is to sell homes for sellers. So thanks for asking.
And I taught her everything she knows.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Of course you did. You're the dad. Of course you did. I'm going to have Mick's amazing footage playing in the background.
Important to note that Ivory, Mick lives there too, but Ivory was born and raised in Puna, right? I mean, miles away from where the last lava flow was and kind of in that community. So has a lot of perspective in terms of, the years of activity that we've had. So this is not new for us that live here on the island. This is new in the news cycle, but the volcano's been going off since '83, right? Kilauea has.
And Ivory's daughter was born And actually, the property where she was born in Leilani is now gone from the 2018 flow. So,
Wow.
nearby.
So
And one other thing, Mick's house that they live in is 1 block away from the flow where it came in 2018. So
Yeah.
we have a very close connection to it. And one other tidbit, I was literally studying the real estate exam while the flow was going on, thinking to myself, who's going to want to move to this island when we have an active volcano?
well, those are really good questions, but the answer is a lot of people still want to move to the island with an active volcano. So, gang, I mean, first of all, I really, really want to thank Ivory and Mick. Mick, I know that you are the man in demand right now. Everybody wants Mick. Everybody wants Mick to take pictures. And I just, I tell Mick, make sure you're charging a lot for it. But you two are in super demand, and you're also like literally, like you just said, great stories. You were, kind of literally almost like born on the lava flow, so to speak, practically. So, folks, we have an unprecedented opportunity, and of course, Dylan was born and raised on the Kona side, and has had those experiences. So, gang, this is the people that you want to talk to right now. Jen posted something in the comments. I don't know if you folks can access it if you're on Facebook, but Hawaii Tracker, great Facebook page. They do a great job of keeping things up to date. Uncle Jim joined us. Excellent, Jim. Welcome. Great to have you back. What's the over under on the flow disrupting traffic? Do you all think? Yeah, good one. Hold on to that, Joanne. Hold on to that. I got a good one. Auntie Jones, love and Pele in all of her splendor. It is amazing. Chris says, beautiful videography, right? It's freaking amazing. Here's a question. Do you think the 1935 ordinance drop to divert that eruption will now have a negative effect on the current flow? Does anybody know what Chris is talking about? The 1935 ordinance drop? Mick, that's your era.
I've heard about that, but I don't know exactly where it is and where. It's a little disorienting when you're flying up there to figure out where everything is. But the pilots were talking about it yesterday, and I don't know that the change in topography, I assume that's what the question is, will change what happens to a downslope. My guess is probably not. It's a lot of lava coming out, and it's just, the problem is with diverting the lava, whether it's something that does it by itself or you do it, is the liability issue. We're talking about litigation here. What if I divert the lava off my property and it goes on to hers? Then she hates me even more than she does now. So, it's a real can of worms in a lot of ways. And diverting it has not been very successful worldwide. There are some places they've done it successfully, actually in Iceland, but that's an unusual case. Usually when they try to divert the lava, it's unsuccessful. So do the math.
Mick,
and just for more background, what he's talking about is we thought it would be a good idea to like drop bombs and try and divert the lava, before when we did crazy stuff. And that's basically what they did back then, was to see if we could drop ordnance and blow craters and try and divert the lava. But the thing about lava, which is different than, it is liquid rock, but it's not like water, right? Like lava builds upon itself. So depending on what it's doing, when it slows down, it cools, and then it kind of can divert itself. So it's really hard to control because it's not a constant liquid. It changes form over time. And so you'll see like where Mick and Ivory were talking about Leilani Estates. I mean, there's literally 30-foot tall, huge lava walls where the lava was flowing, and it kind of just flows on top of itself and builds. So it doesn't flow like a liquid in water where it just kind of flows flat all over a flat surface. It can flow like kind of in a column down a flat surface, and it's very bizarre when you see dry, when the lava hardens and you see how it flowed. It's counterintuitive to the way we think about liquid. And so sometimes, stuff like that might make sense. I can try and divert it, but it's really hard to control because of just the nature of its makeup.
It does flow like water in some regards. It will go down slope. It will follow the terrain. But if it gets blocked, then it can go. I've actually seen it flow uphill. If it's blocked enough, it can go uphill. Plus, it also feeds itself under the ground, under the surface, so it can build up from below. There are places on the 2018 flow that are 100 feet deep. It boggles the mind, really. It's hard to understand. It's like wax dripping from a sandal, but it also feeds underneath. And that's actually the main way that it gets from point A to point B, if it's a long distance, is through a lava tube. These rivers that you're seeing will build up walls, and if it flows slowly enough, will eventually rust over, and then the inside of that lava tube will feed lava for long, long distances. This stuff has to stay almost at 2,000 degrees hot to keep moving. So, it has to be insulated, and those lava tubes are amazingly insulated.
It's this great question about, we drop bombs to divert the lava flow. If you think about kind of it's kind of like saying, if I drop a giant boulder in the ocean, will I move the water? Well, yeah, maybe, but the whole darn island, by the way, was formed from lava flows. So you might be able to move it an inch. Maybe it'll move an inch in one direction, but you won't even know what direction it's going to move. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Sue, what's the best source of info to stay on current on conditions? We'll be there mid-February. Thank you, Sue. Best place, usgs.gov, U.S. Geological Survey. They have an unbelievable website. I was just going through it. Super informative. They go over Mauna Loa in like crazy detail. They give daily updates. That's where I got this info. Absolutely, that's where you've got to go. Auntie Joyce, welcome. Auntie Joyce says, I just sent 20 texts and emails to people. Yeah, exactly. Joanne, great question. I got a slide on the VOG. Hold on. Paul is with us. Hey, Paul, good to see you, everybody. Welcome back. Paul's a longtime channel fan. Pictures are beautiful but scary at the same time. Pratt, there's nothing scarier than what X thousand degrees molten rock going at you. I don't know what could possibly be scarier than that. Hermit, I'm glad the lava isn't causing damages to anybody's home. I thought Ocean View was in big trouble as soon as this went off, but they seem to have dodged a bullet. Not over yet. There's some maps over there. You can kind of see where the lava flows have been kind of like all over the place. So it ain't over till it's over. My channel's working. Okay, my Pratt is my sister Dana from Mexico. Okay, well, welcome to your sister Dana from Mexico. All right, I think we got all the questions out of the way. I wanted to kind of pop in. I had some really good stuff I wanted to kind of fill you guys in on. Let's bring this up over here, and I'm gonna please. There we go. So I got some really cool. I was able to kind of get some really cool things. A big issue here, especially for the local folks, is going to be the highway. What's going on with the highway? Saddle Road is the highway that we're talking about. Saddle Road goes right through the middle of the island. It's become a main thoroughfare. It used to be like a ghost road that nobody would go on, but that was a long time ago. But there's some stuff I got here. So let's listen in on this scientist dude that I was able to kind of pull some stuff on. So first, let's talk about how fast this thing is going. And we have to unmute him.
From the highway.
Here we go.
And this flow right now is about 3.5 miles or so from the highway. It is slowed down appreciably today. Last night it was making over 100 yards an hour, and it slowed down to about 30 yards an hour later this afternoon. So we don't expect it to get to the highway very soon. If it would have kept going at 130 yards an hour, it would have made it 2 days. But it's going to slow down crossing this flat area. And what we'll see is the front of the lava flow, instead of being narrow channelized flow, has spread out to a very broad front. And so a lot of the lava is just accumulating on this flat plane, and it actually flattens out even more towards the highway from there.
So there's a really big thing there, right? My big takeaway from that was that, they were predicting that it was going to reach the highway in as short as 2 days, but now it's dramatically slowed down. So that 2-day estimate is really a best or worst case scenario. It's going to slow down significantly. Now, here's the one, Mick, to what you were saying earlier, that it flows like water. They asked him the question of, is this thing going to hit the highway? And I thought this was really, really interesting. So listen to this.
We're not totally sure. The lava flow is coming right down the divide between where it could either go this way over to Hilo or this way over to the Kona side. And we do those divide based on kind of flowing water down a topographic surface, right? We'll see tonight, this is no longer water, okay? It's a big, solid, creeping mass of rock. And so as it spreads out, it can actually provide barriers to itself. So it can either bounce itself either more to the Hilo side or more to the Kona side. So there's a lot we don't know. If it does go to the Kona side, there's a good chance it won't get to the highway because there's some topography in the way. The highway curves away and up the slopes of Mauna Kea a little bit. So there's a lot of uncertainty, just like we've been saying for the last couple of months. I can tell you certain things. I can't tell you other things, you know. And so right now we can tell you some kind of things like the fastest it can possibly get to the highway right now is 2 days. Will it get to the highway? I can't tell you that. Will it turn, go to Hilo? Can't tell you that. Will it turn and go the other way? Can't tell you that. Do it. So we're watching this thing pretty much 24 hours a day.
So I love scientists because they're so brutally honest. Mick, Ivory, Mick, Dylan, you guys have any comments on what he just shared? I thought that was very interesting. We don't know which way it's going to go. So Joanne, to your comment earlier on the over and under, we need to start like a football poll on this one and kind of do a thing. Anyway, Mick, Ivory, Dylan, you folks have any comments on this?
Well, like she said, what it's doing now is it's spreading. When it gets into a flat enough area, then it spreads. Had the 2018 eruption not channelized and sent all the lava down slope for 2 months, it would have covered everything in Leilani. Because what it does is it pushes underneath and it spreads out, and then it flows over itself to one side, over itself to another side, and it just keeps widening and widening and widening. That doesn't mean it's not going forward. And like you said, it very well may go to the highway. I think it'll probably get there if it continues, if the flow continues in a week or 10 days would be my guess. But who knows? If I had to guess, I would say it's going to go Hilo way. But but you have to remember when you get down to the flow front like that, 30 yards an hour is fast for moving rock, but it's not like you can't walk away from it. This is not a danger to people as far as getting trapped by the lava and getting overrun by the lava. That doesn't happen. Not here. Not this volcano. But but it doesn't do any good for your house and your property.
Especially if it's in its way. Hey, Dylan, any feedback you want to share?
I think the thing we got to remember is just don't worry about it. There's nothing we can do, right? I mean, it was totally 100% out of our control. So people that are stressed out about it, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We'll deal with it when that time comes. It would be a huge bummer if it crosses Saddle Road and cuts off Saddle Road. That would be a huge bummer. I mean, we have been spoiled by that highway. That's not a new thing, right? I mean, it's like less than 10 years old, and it cut the commute time, by like 45 minutes across the island. And so it's pretty significant in terms of just economic impact and commuter impact, because a lot of people do drive back and forth for work or goods and services going across the island. The northern route, if you were to do that now, has a lot of bridge construction, so it's really slow. There's a lot of one-lane bridges. It would slow the commute time down significantly, and so that would be a huge bummer for us if it crossed. But again, it couldn't. The lava could just stop tomorrow. You never know. I mean, that's what's so random about it is there's you have no idea. This thing could go on for 10 years or it could stop tomorrow. Like that's literally the reality of the situation. So what's crazy about this though is I didn't know this until I dug into some research, right? Once this started. And if you know the Big Island and you've been to Waikoloa and you see all the lava fields in Waikoloa, right? Those are Mauna Loa lava flows. Like this thing, if it goes the Kona way, like he's talking about it going Kona to Waikoloa, like not Kona town, because Kona town's protected by Ho'olulai. There's another huge mountain in front of it. This thing would flow between Ho'olulai, between Mauna Kea, and flow all the way into North Kona, basically, which is the resort areas where Maunalani is at, where the Waikoloa village is at, all of that stuff. And so it's very interesting what's possible. I mean, it's a huge array of what's possible, right? It could end up on the Hilo side, or it could end up all the way on the opposite side of the island based on kind of where it goes over the next week or so.
That's a really, really good point, Dylan. I wanted to bring this up that he had. Check this out, gang. So I pulled this off of the USGS website. Again, absolutely fantastic resource. Now, this was remarkable to me. This shows you historical flows of Mauna Loa, and not just historical flows of Mauna Loa, but also the speed. So you could see what Dylan's talking about here. This North Kona, in 1859, which is like
not
2 minutes ago. In it's 2 minutes ago in geological time, right? they had a lava flow into North Kona. Now what's interesting is they also have a time. So this one took up to 8 days to weeks is the speed of the lava flow going to North Kona. 1984, I talk about yesterday, Hilo, weeks to months, 280 days. It took the lava flows to reach Hilo, weeks to months. What really stuck out to me was look at the South Kona. If it doesn't, it looks like it's going on a northerly basis. I got another slide for that here. This one here. So this is the flow of the way it looks like it's going now, and you could kind of almost see from the map that the flow is moving north. It's not going south. So the earlier comment that Hermit had about the Hawaiian Ocean view is not endangered. Yeah, it's not. But check this out, though. We talk about like this thing takes forever, right? Weeks and months. But look at what blew me away. What I did not know is the South Kona, the dark red region here. The lava can reach populated area in hours because of the slope, etc. Now, last time it happened was in 1950. So again, that's like yesterday. Thankfully, we know the flow is going north and not south. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, that's a flow I drive over regularly. You know, my wife was born and raised in Kona Paradise. Those two flows are between Kona and Kona Paradise. And so we call it first and second lava flow when you're going south, you know, kind of like it's a geographical marker, but it's just these huge tracts of lava that the highway was built across. But yeah, those happened in 1950. That's not very long ago. I mean, it's crazy to think that. And that's why a lot of people on Monday night when this happened, the people in South Kona like packed their crap and were like heading north because we had very little information, right? I mean, at 11:30 at night, people were like, Mauna Loa is erupting. There was at 1 a.m. in the morning, I was looking online. I was on the USGS site, first place I went. There were no updates yet. There were no civil defense updates. So it was a crapshoot. Like all we knew was definitively Mauna Loa is erupting. We had no idea where. And if you understand how big the rift zone is, there's a wide array of places that lava can go, right? And so there was no way to know what was going to happen, and people were alarmed. I mean, there was a lot of traffic from South Kona heading north because people just didn't know what to expect.
You know, thanks for bringing that up. I was Mick, give me a quick sec. I was wondering, like, wow, why did everybody, these lava flows are supposed to take weeks and months. They're slow. Why are people jumping into a shelter? That's why. Mick, go ahead.
Yeah, the area, Dylan just made a cogent point there. There are certain areas like the Ocean View area, the South Kona area, where if the lava flows in that direction, it can hit there very quickly because it's so steep. But it's all predicated on where the initial eruption happens, where it starts and where it gravitates to. If it starts in the wrong place, it can get there in hours. If it starts in the right place, which actually what's happening now is a pretty good place for it to happen. There's a lot of room out for it to flow. And secondly, I'm talking to Jack Lockwood, who's a Mauna Loa specialist, and his prediction was the first eruptions at Mauna Loa happen in twos. There's the initial eruption, which almost always happens at the summit. And this one did start at the summit, but it quickly moved down slope a little bit. And Jack said that's not, it's not that it doesn't happen, but it's a little bit less usual, because usually the first eruption can erupt at the summit and stay there, but this one has gotten out. But the chances are this eruption, according to Jack now, I'm not a scientist, right? But is generally shorter lived. It may only last a week, 2 weeks, in that range. It'll stop. And then another eruption will happen in weeks, months, or even years later. The 1984 eruption happened, I think, 9 years after the summit eruption, which was 75, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the second eruption that's dangerous. Because when the second eruption happens, it's going to be a flank eruption. It's not going to happen in the summit. It's going to happen downslope. And depending on where that happens, that's going to be the determining factor of how dangerous it is.
Excellent. Hey, great feedback. Love that. Thanks, Mick. I do have a clip here. I'm going to play when the scientist talking about the duration. Let's listen into this one. Once I get the audio going.
Lasts for 2 to 3 weeks.
Here wait.
We expect this flow to keep going. Most Mauna Loa flows like this last for 2 to 3 weeks. They can go longer and they can go shorter, but just on average, we're looking at something that we're in the very early stages of right now. We expect this flow to keep going.
That's a loop. Okay, so very early stage could go, could go 2 or 3 weeks, could go longer. Very interesting. So I thought that was kind of insightful. Let me get your looping footage back on again with the turning off the helicopter. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. Let's get a couple. Okay, first of all, gang, you've all been great, folks. If you have any questions, you want to pop them in now. I don't know. We don't know how long the show is going to last. Only as long as as we all care to be here, and until Mick gets up and takes off. That's when the show's over. Yeah. When Mick's got to go, we got to go.
I do have a prediction. I have like a fantasy volcano league going on. Where we
do it. We want the fantasy volcano league link, please. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My prediction is, again, I am the furthest from a volcanologist or orographer as my dad is. But I did grow up here, so I should know more than I do. And I'm just saying, I think if it's going to cross Saddle Road, it's crossing on December 15th. That's just the day I picked. Okay. I don't ask. But
write that down.
Okay, you're on record. It's on YouTube now. The whole world knows. So we're gonna see.
And I do know that Shannon Matson, one of our candidates over here on the Puna side, she says December 5th. So those dates are taken. And if you guys want to pick any others, you're welcome to.
You know what? Let's have a little bit of fun over here. All right, gang. So look, here's everyone's chance to be immortalized forever as a soothsayer, a truth knower. Pop your comments in. Here's the question, right? So to Ivory's point, if it's going to cross Saddle Road is that main thoroughfare that you heard about. If it's going to cross Saddle Road, what day do you think it'll cross? Now, if you don't think it'll cross at all, which is also a possibility because you heard what the scientist said, could go either way, put your comment and say it won't cross. So here's what I want to know, gang. Take your guess and we will forever immortalize you on YouTube. Is it going to cross, yes or no? And if it will, what day will it cross? Pop it in. Because Chris says December 7th. Jen says December 3rd. So pop in. I want to see some more of your guesses, etc. So, okay, we have a couple of comments over here. So Chris earlier said 1984, I believe, lasted over 200 days. Okay, Mick, 280.
And it never made it to Hilo, right? That 280, that 84 flow, if you look at that map, it actually stopped about halfway into Hilo. So this thing can go on for a year and never make it a populated area. That's happened in the past too.
Yeah.
Dylan, what's your prediction? I know you're a gambling man. I was in Vegas with you.
It's not gonna cross.
Okay.
Okay.
And I
not
do
gonna
need
cross.
You're in the presence of Mr. Costco, so he does not want this to cross. This guy's recognized more in Costco than anywhere around the world. I promise.
Oh man, yeah, a man of my own heart. I'm right there with you, Mick. I'm a big huge Costco fan. Let's see the votes. The votes are coming in. Let's see. We've got Pratt, who's Auntie Jones, Auntie Joyce's sister, says won't cross. Jeremy says not going to cross. Kelly Fuller says 12-12. All right, Kelly, you're on the record. Good,
Kelly's a little more
good
with
to see
me.
you, Kelly, in the comment. Okay, Daniela says will not cross. Ray Dix. Now, Ray, pop a question. How's it feel? Ray just moved to Hilo like last week, and he just moved to Hilo. Ray, fill us in. How's it feeling out there, buddy? Auntie Joyce says December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, is going to be down. Is the day, and so that's that. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. I think one thing I wanted to get a feel for to Dylan's comment, who said don't worry about it. Mick, Ivory, you guys kind of literally grew up around the volcano, around active volcanoes. What does it feel? And you folks are on the Hilo side, right? So what's it feeling like right now? What's the vibe? What's it like to be sort of in this area with this sort of thing where you don't know what's going on? What does it feel like?
I think you've really brought up an important point, especially to people who don't live here. If you're sitting in Ivory's house right now, looking out the window, you would have no idea there's an eruption happening. Even the eruption that happened in 2018, there was some little bit of fog and there was the bad air and stuff, but unless it's at nighttime and you see there's low, you don't really know. You know, it's if you're planning on coming to visit Hawaii, this is the perfect time to come visit Hawaii. This is not something to be afraid of. This is not something to run away from or cancel your trip. This is something to come here to see, because this is what's happening on the saddle right now, and the access it's giving to visitors and locals alike is phenomenal. You know, this doesn't happen all the time. Last time this happened was 40 years ago, and it wasn't as visible as this one. You know, it's right there in front of you. It's fantastic. So, you know, no need to worry about what's happening in terms of air quality and danger to you or your you know, not at this moment. And even when it does happen, it's localized. It's very, very localized.
I'll piggyback off.
Oh, look, wait, excuse me. Look, there's a shot right over the highway there. You see that? There was
That's
a
the highway.
road.
That's a private road.
That's the road that
Mick,
goes
go ahead.
to the observatory on Mauna Loa.
I'll
The
just-
observatory road.
I'll
Observatory
piggyback
road, yes.
off of my dad. I've gotten to play tourist for the last 2 nights. I've gone, one night was a girls' night out, and we drove up, and I don't want to give away too many trade secrets here, but to park right at the bottom of Pu'uhuluhulu, it's a nice little parking lot, and you park there, you go hiking up. That's a picture of, where is it?
Right across from the road.
Right across from the Mauna Kea access road. They literally share an intersection. And so it's a little trafficy getting right up to that. But once you're there, a few people are waiting for spots, but it kind of, trades off easily. And it was so fun. It's really an easy hike. It's kind of grassy. There's no smell in the air whatsoever. You can get to a couple different places where you can see these glows. It was a little more cloudy last night, but the night before was amazing. And it's a real feeling of, I kind of put it akin to Disneyland. I know that sounds crazy, but everyone's there enjoying and having fun and being nice to each other. And people are like, wait, do I go this way or that way? And I said, oh, walk right around this, and then it's going to be the best thing you've seen. He's like, oh, I'm on it. And it's just like we're all helping each other out. And it's a little crowded, but nothing crazy. You know, it's a little trafficy getting up there and getting back, but nothing crazy.
There is something really remarkable about these sort of shared natural phenomena, right? Where like everyone goes to a certain place at a certain time, and everyone's kind of seeing, experiencing the same thing. Dylan, you know, you did this just last night with your son. That's an amazing shot.
Well, not only my son, but I went, we're doing a big event tomorrow, a conference here in Kona, and I had some speakers flying in from the mainland, and they landed at 7. And so I texted them in the morning. I said, hey, the volcano is flowing. I want to pick you guys up and take you straight to go see the volcano. Is that cool? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So literally pick some folks up, 6-hour flight. They get in my car and we just go straight up to the volcano. And it was a mind-blowing experience, right? I mean, like, what an amazing thing. To come to Hawaii and then be able to see lava within the first hour of you being here, right? And to add on to what Mick was saying, right, is if you looked at the past flows, especially the Kilauea flows that have been happening recently, they weren't easy to see. Like, you either needed to go by boat or by airplane, or you needed to illegally hike, miles in over the lava rocks in order to see a live flow. You couldn't get a really up close or clear view of the flows, and you can literally in the air conditioned car like drive right to where you can see it, and you're like 3 miles away. I mean, it's the opportunity to see lava like this in such a safe environment and also so clearly is very rare. I mean, I think in the world, very, very rare. Not just here, because even here when we had flows recently, even when they were flowing like through Leilani Estates, those roads were blocked off by the National Guard. You couldn't get anywhere near it unless you broke the law and illegally went in. So yeah, this opportunity is going to be potentially very short-lived, and this is the time if you're going to come and you want to see lava flowing. It's a spiritual experience. I mean, seeing it coming out at the summit and these huge lines, miles-long lines of lava streaming down the mountain. It's surreal, and it's just so raw. I mean, it's nature in its rawest form. It was the first time I ever, got to see it like that. I've seen it from helicopter before, but it's different, when you're just standing there and just in the quiet, in the dark, and experiencing that. It's amazing.
Same
Go ahead.
with us. And
Go ahead,
one
Ivory.
other really amazing thing is you're up there a ways. Your elevation is a little high. So my little 12-year-old last night, we're looking at the flow, and he looks up and says, "That's the Big Dipper." So you have this beautiful celestial
Crazy,
world.
right?
The moon is there. it's just, yeah, it's really amazing. I'll be honest, the 6-year-old wasn't quite as happy to be there. She had some complaints.
Mom.
Yeah, she wanted to leave, but the boys wanted to stay all night. They've talked about it nonstop since we got back last night, and they want to go again tonight. That's the main thing.
Let me just
that is so cool.
add some oh, go ahead, Mick. Go ahead.
Things that, first of all, I looked up on the internet, the trusted internet, right? And the 1984 flow lasted for 3 weeks. The other thing is the flow front right now is largely It's almost all moves a lot more slowly than pahoehoe. Lava is two forms. What you're looking at right there is pahoehoe, the fast-moving, smooth lava, and then that lava can change into depending on the temperature and the makeup of the lava. But lava never turns from back into pahoehoe, right? That doesn't happen. That doesn't mean it shouldn't flow underneath it and come out pahoehoe, but it doesn't revert back. So what's happening at the flow front is slower moving. That's a big reason why it's slowed down, and a big reason why I think there's a good chance it won't make the road. That's just my guess.
All right. So Mick says it ain't gonna hit the road. All right.
If it does, it's gonna happen late in the eruption, and I think it's gonna move to the east now. That's my.
All right. Let's get back. We have a couple.
One point on visiting, right? If you're on the island or you plan to come and try and get a view of it, of course that's unknown how long the road's gonna stay open for, but it's kind of insane. I mean, going up there there was traffic. I mean, backed up bumper to bumper for miles and miles and miles and miles. I mean, more cars back to back than I've ever seen in Hawaii. I've seen in the LA freeways before, but not here in Hawaii. And so if you're gonna go, be patient. Bring a snack, bring some drinks and stuff in your car. I mean, you could be in the car for an hour or two just waiting to get close enough to see it. And it was. My kids and I did a math problem last night, try to estimate how many cars were on the road, right? We took the miles, and then we allocated 10 feet per car. And, we think there could have been 20,000 cars on the road yesterday. I mean, it was a ton of people up there. So just plan accordingly. It can be slow moving. And my son actually was playing in a basketball game in Hilo last night, and it took him 4 hours to get home. It should take an hour and 45, 2 hours max. And it took him double the time to get back across the island. So take the commute time into account.
Take the commute time and make it kind of right. We have a couple things I want to catch up on over here for everybody. Let's see. We had a couple of comments that popped in. Auntie Joan says it won't cross, but if it does, at 12/29 to celebrate my birthday. There you go, Joan. That's what you want. 12/29 to celebrate your birthday. I asked Ray Dix a question about what does it feel like, and Ray says, seventh day in our home. Pink sky in the southwest at 3:30 a.m. At least it's not as often as the hurricanes in our old stomping ground on the Gulf Coast, Florida and Alabama, right? 60 days before we left the mainland, Hurricane Sally almost leveled our town. This is just fine. So look, everything's relative. And Auntie Joan asked, I'm so jealous that I'm not there to see it in person. Joan, why are you jealous? You live in Hawaii. Get on the damn plane, fly into the thing, and then go out and ask. Go to Paradise Helicopters and ask for fly with Mick and get on, because Mick's. By the way, gang, we need to promote Mick here. So better view. See where it says Tropical Visions Video in the upper right hand corner, everybody. Tropical Visions Video. Mick, that's your company, right? Is this what you do? Is this like your hobby? Is this your living? What is it that you do, Mick?
I've made a living on the volcano for the better part of 40 years. I've done other things, but the volcano has been my specialty because it was successful. So why not continue to do it? But after the eruption in 2018, which came 500 feet from our property, I was pretty burned out, So I've pretty much been retired since then, and so this has kind of brought me out of retirement, I'm happy to do it for such an amazing event. I still love shooting the lava flow. It's just that, doing it day after day after day, getting up at 3, flying, editing, it becomes nuts.
It's a job. It's work. It becomes work, and that's why they call it work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mick, now when we started the show early on, I asked you to food for thought. What does it feel like? And this is what I want to know. And gang, so look, gang, I don't want to make the show longer than it needs to be. I've taken care of everybody's questions. If there's any other comment, there's one thing we'll talk about, the air quality. We'll touch on that. That's the last topic. Gang, this is your last chance. Pop your questions in, questions or comments. How about a shout out for Ivory and Mick, who took the time out to kind of share their mana'o for us. That is like phenomenal, you guys. I mean, I so appreciate that. So Mick, I kind of want to end it in a sense, bring it to a kind of a close with you. I asked you earlier, what does it feel like when you're up there making these amazing shots? It is, Ivory mentioned a spiritual experience, which the times I've seen the volcano, it's exactly what I feel. That orange red is, there's just something about it. But Mick, what does it feel like up there?
I remember my very first flight. Kilauea used to high fountain every month. Every 3 to 4 weeks, she would send fountains up 800, 900, 1,500 feet. And it was something that boggled the mind. You look at it and your mind can't compute. You're looking at liquid rock. Rock is something that doesn't move. It's not supposed to be doing this. So it's hard to wrap your head around it. But my second thought was, it looks like the moon. It looks like another planet. It's surreal. There's something about it that is just absolutely devastatingly beautiful, but it's also very destructive. It's got that dichotomy, and I love it, and it is a spiritual thing. But shooting it, there's so many things to think about and to do. Settings on the camera, angles, positions. Not to mention the heat. If you get too close to it in a helicopter, you can feel it big time. I mean, it can be so hot. The first time I flew past it, it was high fountain eruption. We were probably half a mile away, quarter mile away. It was so hot, I couldn't remember what I was doing. So it's kind of mind blowing. But at least I'm distracted when I do that. I don't think about falling out of the helicopter. I don't think about crashing into the lava. And those thoughts can go through your mind when you're doing this. But it's a detachment. But I love it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. The only thing it compares to is childbirth. As we said, it's the birth of the earth. And,
birth of the earth. Well said. Well said. Well said. I get that. I get that same feeling when not even a live lava flow, you certainly feel an incredibly primordial sense, right? When you're seeing it. I think to me, it almost feels the same way when you're looking at a new lava field. To me, it's like it's the beginning. You're seeing the earth as it was, 4 billion years ago when the earth kind of first formed, right? It's got this incredibly primordial sense. We got a couple of things over here. Auntie Joy says, got up at 2 a.m. to board a boat when Kilauea erupted, right? Lava hitting the water with sun rising was mind-blowing. It really is. Ivory, you had a comment from your colleague here, Kelly, who says, go icon Ivory. That must be some sort of a key, a code phrase that the girls have between each other.
But she just got it was announced this morning. She just got our company's top producer award, the highest award you can get. So she's killing it over here.
Who got that? Ivory?
Yes.
Awesome. Go icon Ivory. Awesome. Way to go. Congratulations, Ivory. I could see why.
Thank you, Kelly.
Gang, hey, look, we're all part of the Ohana here, right? So look, you're working with you're on the channel, you're working with Dylan. It also means you could be working with Ivory. We're all kind of one big Ohana that Dylan has been driving, and so thankful for all of it. It's been great. We got She Who Laughs says, yes, both beautiful and destructive at the same time. Yeah, exactly, right. That's what just it's an amazing piece. All right, let's kind of wrap this up, gang. Last chance. Ray gives us a big mahalo nui loa. Well, thank you, Ray. Ray, it's you being here that makes this all fun and worth it. Let's hit the air quality. Chris says air quality in Ka'u and Ocean View isn't as bad as folks think. Unless wind direction changes, then we would get raw from Kilauea, but nothing from Moku Aweo. I hope I didn't butcher that. I probably did. I'll have to go back and watch over that more carefully to kind of say it right. Let's I did bring up a slide. I did think about this on air quality. So let me bring this up real quick. So again, this is from the USGS website. How is air quality affected? This is as of yesterday. And so you can see in terms of the air quality there, you could see the air quality there. It's very, very minimalized right now. Again, things could change. But this also makes sense why Ivory was saying that there was no, bad smell in the air, or you didn't kind of feel that. You see that, gang? You could just barely get that red zone is right immediately around the volcano, far away from Hilo. And this scale, by the way, is an unhealthy scale of air quality. So unhealthy air quality would be the orange stuff. You could basically, there's nothing there. There's a little bit of yellow wisps here and there. So far, it doesn't seem to be the case that there's anything going else on about air quality. Go ahead.
I'm not a scientist, but you know what? Just common sense tells me about why this is a better situation air quality wise than it was with Kilauea. Is where the lava's coming out, right? With Kilauea, it was coming out at a very low elevation, so obviously that air can flow easier to where people are. This one's coming out at 12,000 feet. There's a jet stream
Excellent
up there,
point.
and picking its stuff up and blowing it off. So it would have to come down pretty significantly to get to any place where people could actually breathe it.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Go ahead, you guys.
That's pretty good second grade science there, Dylan.
I just apply common sense to everything in the world, and hopefully it works.
But no matter how bad the volume is, what are you going to do about it? You can't put a scrubber on a volcano. You can't clean up the air coming out of a volcano. It's going to do what it's going to do. Sorry.
It's gonna do what it's gonna do. But Dylan, on that point, I really wish that more scientists practice common sense as well. It would be like really delightful, because there's a lot of scientists that don't have a lot of common sense. Unfortunately,
this is just my opinion. I'd rather breathe what comes out of the volcano than what comes out of the back of a car in a big city. So
there you go. There you go.
I'll take the volcano air quality over LA air quality or San Francisco air quality any day of the week.
Any day of the week, any day of the week. Well, Auntie Joyce, who's in Holualoa, says the air is fine so far. So that is good to hear. Thanks, Auntie Joyce. Boots on the ground. And Chris is happy. Mahalo. Hey, Chris, great to have you here, Chris. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Look, I think that's it. Let's just wrap this up. There's no more questions. I think we've covered. Is there anything that I missed, gang? Is there anything, Mick, Ivory, Dylan, that you guys want to bring up that we missed?
Talk about this all night, Peter. It goes on and on and on and on and on. But I really appreciate talking with you guys. It's really been fun, and I want to throw in a little caveat here that I'm not a scientist, and I don't play one on TV. And anything I've said here was my own opinion, and it has nothing to do with the reality on in the situation on the ground. But I watched it for 40 years, so I kind of have some kind of a clue. But thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, same goes for me, except for the icon thing. That's for real.
That's awesome. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. She who laughs, exactly. Dylan agrees with you completely. And Dylan, mahalo, brother. So yeah, absolutely. Look, you guys have been great. Dylan, you want to kind of close any final thoughts here?
Yeah, the main thing is just get information from trusted sources, right? Don't worry about what people are posting on social media and stuff. Go to the USGS website, do a little bit of historical research, and yeah, make informed decisions about what you're going to do. But there's nothing to worry about. That's the short story. There's nothing to worry about yet.
Short story, nothing to worry about as of right now. Track it closely. That USGS website is an incredible resource. I highly suggest that you all you take that. All right, gang. Look, man. If I don't know however you got here, but livinginhawaii.com. That's my website. That's the gathering place. Get on that website. Get on the newsletter. You could divide to stuff like this. First, I want to give a huge mahalo to Ivory and Mick, Uncle Mick, and Dylan. Thank you all for being here. Have a great one. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Mick, then Ivory, and then Dylan. Say goodbye.
Aloha.
All right, folks. Take care, everyone. Have a great one. See you guys later. Aloha.
Calber out.